Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, and please excuse my voice if I sound a little bit under the weather. I got this super cold that's going on. But I wanted to talk about 3 ways that I think the Russia-Ukraine war is going to impact Sweden. Now, I've always been someone that's very interested in geopolitics. It's been a huge interest in mine, especially history over the years, and following all these different countries. I've always cared about geography. So this is why I want to talk about this issue, because I have this YouTube channel and I'm interested in this topic. So let's go into it. And number 1, we are going to see the military industrial complex of even Sweden boom. A lot more money is going to be spent on Sweden's military budget. You know, to be a independent, neutral country, if Sweden decides to not join NATO, or even if they join NATO, either way, they're going to have to spend money on the military. I think you're going to see an increase in the draft in Sweden and more young people being brought into the military and more incentives to bring people in the military, more salaries to be made in the military, because there's only 30,000 troops at the moment, and that is definitely a weak point for Sweden is its number of active, ready service infantry men and women. So this is something that we're going to see a huge boom to, and we could already see, I wish that I had Saab stock, and I'm sure everybody that had Saab stock or works at Saab is feeling pretty good about this last week, because Saab had like 75% gains in 1 week. And that is because a lot of money is going to go into the military. See, Sweden is a very peaceful nation, but they're very good at making a lot of murder tools. Let's just say that they've been good at that. They're one of the largest suppliers of weapons throughout all of Europe, a reality of Sweden. The Gripen is probably one of the most well-known fighter jets that you can buy in Europe. It's very good for smaller countries that can afford one type of fighter jet. If you're a smaller country and get one type of fighter jet, the Gripen is a very good choice to go with, and is why it's very popular among many nations. Sweden is well known for this, so make no mistake, no matter what happens, money is being spent on the military. The military budget is growing in Sweden, and we are going to see massive changes there. Number 2, I think Sweden's going to have to rethink being a cashless society. Now, hear me out, because again, I'm just speculating here, but when we're looking at a situation where it's possible that Russia could give cyber attacks. The United States has warned for this, and now when America says something, it holds more credibility after what they said about the Russia-Ukraine war, the fact that they said that this was going to happen and that it happened. We have to just say it holds more weight now. And the thing is, in Sweden, you can't get around with cash. It's not accepted. I mean, I've been going to grocery stores and they wouldn't accept cash. And I think this is one of those areas where we can see if something would happen, if you don't have the infrastructure in place for cash, it could really hurt people. Now, imagine how big of a bummer it is when your bank goes down. Now, imagine if your bank goes down for a week and you can't buy food, for example. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying when you don't have the system in place without it, I think it's something that Swedes are at least going to have to rethink. I don't know if it'll get brought up in the government, but having a backup plan in place in case something happens. I can tell you that I've never had issues with banking, but this year alone, my bank has gone down 3 times and twice when I've actually been at the grocery store where I had to put my groceries back. So, yeah, I can just tell you it's not a fun situation when that happens. Number 3, and this is a problem facing a lot of countries, is that Sweden is going to have to become more self-sufficient. Sweden at the moment is not self-sufficient in a lot of things, and Sweden used to be a massive farming country, but now 75% of all food is imported into the country, meaning that Sweden does not do a good job at having its own farmers producing food here. And the world is changing. The world order is changing. We can no longer rely on the fact that we're going to have peace in the world. We can no longer rely on the fact that we can trade with our enemies. And now suddenly natural resources are also becoming an issue. The United States is going to try to produce more natural gas and more oil to supply to Europe. Electrical costs in many parts of Sweden have already skyrocketed, and inflation is really taking off. And Europe, like the United States, although people live very good lives in Europe, once the prices of gas and certain things like electricity start to skyrocket, you will see it impact everybody's lives. It'll impact everyday regular people. And it's something that Europeans are definitely going to have to look at, and probably would hope that Russia doesn't completely shut off everything. But there's still a possibility that that could happen. So the United States is trying to ramp up everything. America has a lot of contracts already with other countries, so it has to ramp up its production. It can't just promise anything to Europe yet. So I think that you're going to see Sweden putting more money and resources to farming, for example, putting more money and resources into producing maybe more electricity here in the country, because this is something where it's maybe a negative aspect of globalism. We thought this was a really good thing, but unfortunately, it's a new world we live in. Russia invading Ukraine, in my opinion, changed the world order forever, and we are seeing all these changes here happen in Sweden. So this is just my prediction on things. I'm like I said, I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer in any way, shape, or form. I'm just talking about what I see happening over the next 5 years. I believe that Russia will lose this war. I believe that Putin will be taken out of power. I don't know when, but I believe that will happen. And I believe that there will be peace in Europe again. So, with all that said, I hope everybody enjoyed this one. If you would like more videos like this, please go ahead and hit that like button. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.